The following is a paid program, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent the opinions of the management of this station or Pamel Broadcasting. And the views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers of this program are solely their own. They do not represent or reflect the views, policies, or official position of ACA, its affiliates, or its staff. ACA does not endorse any statements made during this broadcast. This is 1 in 31 Autism Today, a presentation from Anderson Center for Autism. 1 in 31 Autism Today is a weekly show devoted to autism spectrum disorder.
Good morning and welcome to 1 in 31, the weekly talk show on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, Chief Development Officer with Anderson Foundation for Autism and Anderson Center for Autism. And on behalf of Anderson and the whole community, I'd like to welcome our guest today, Chef Pearl. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chef Pearl. I'm located in Blauville, New York. I'm very excited to talk about how awesome my journey has been. I'm from Thailand, and I have been living, give or take, about 8 countries in my life. Wow. And not just travel. Yes, I started in Thailand, and then I went to school in Australia, went to culinary school in London. I lived in Switzerland for a while, and I traveled throughout Asia, and voila, I'm landed in New York.
You're landed in Rockland County, New York, which is not that far from our main campus in the Hudson Valley up in Dutchess County. But Rockland is beautiful, and it's a great place. It's I think it's just been a very, very diverse place. I actually recently was down there doing a presentation about autism upon request, and I think that the desire for information and for services, and for not just the straightforward or more, I should say, more clinical focused services or educational services is really growing. I think we could all see that we're looking at community-based resources and recreation and socialization and just entertainment, things that are really about interacting with other people and doing something enjoyable are starting to get, I think, more recognition among the autistic population and the neurodivergent population than really just the sort of very technical skill building or clinical approach to things. So we're going to talk all about that part of your work in a minute. But let's go back a little bit. So in your time since you were born in Thailand, you've lived in 8 countries. What gave you the opportunity, or what gave you the opportunity to do that? What were you doing all over the world?
I grew up in a mindset of the world is so big because I like to read to begin with. I started reading at the age of 3, right?
Starts with reading. I love that.
Children, I lived through Disney, and it just made me curious. Is it true that, the princess life be like this? You have to be a good person to be like that. And then I start to study history. Okay. Actually, my background is hotel management, right? So I jump back and forth in different worlds. And in my mind, since I was 12, I asked myself, how can I start traveling without breaking my family bank account? Because travel from Thailand to different countries back then, it's not cheap. They don't have economy, cheap tickets or something. So I started with try to find opportunity. I worked with Disney Thailand. I was voiceover since I grew up with the book anyway. And then they gave us opportunity to go to visit Tokyo Disneyland, my first trip. And then, back then internet was not even compared to nowadays. So I researched things and I asked teacher, how can I skip grades? Not like I want to cut school, but how I can graduate high school within a year or 2. And luckily, I was good at school. So my teacher recommended me to, you got to take these tests. Once you pass, you're going to get the degree, and then you can look for a scholarship. Ooh, scholarship. That was, new word to me. And then I kept studied, and I got scholarship to go to Sydney, Australia, to University of Sydney. And then the world, changed. And the reason that I start having soft spot about people who are in need is not that they're disabled of anything. They're just born differently. We born differently. They, they just make me want to be a better person in terms of I got a blind friend that had studied very hard to read through the Braille, right? Mm-hmm. So I started reading for him, and I took him to do some little errands and stuff. And I just promised to myself that if I can do more, I will do more. Okay. And, it started me just like the universe of the energy, just walk me through the path that I keep volunteering to help others. And people start to invite me to, especially other school, to be a guest speaker of history. And then how can I even become little girl from Thailand and, move around, and my love of cooking pushed me again. After I graduated, I worked in a hotel for a couple of years, and I feel like I really want to cook like professionally, but I don't want to be a chef though. Okay. So I started to go to, I went to London. I went to Le Cordon Bleu. And that's another life-changing. So they had the opportunity to have job apprentice. And I worked with, big event like Cannes Film Festival. Well, I didn't walk red carpet. I worked in the kitchen. But it was fun. And then eventually, after I settled myself, I came to New York with a big dream like Willy Wonka. Mm-hmm. Chocolate in my pocket, let's sell it. That chocolate means I hope I have a talent of cooking and I can talk. If you have 3 hours for me, I'll be like with you for 3 hours. So I started a job in LA. I worked with Wolfgang Puck. I worked through his events. Eventually, I became private chef because he recommended me, because I said to him, I don't want to work in the kitchen, chef. It was so stressful. I cannot take the heat of, people. Ding.
Yep. So, hard enough for me to watch on those TV shows. So I can only imagine in person. Seems very stressful.
People have to do what they have to do. Maybe it's not for me, right? So I removed myself from that environment and started my own Speaks Easy cooking, because I had an apartment in New York City. I barely sleep there though. I flipped it into a chef table, and people have to know someone to know me to get into my little bubble. And I worked with Food Network. I was a food stylist for a while. I worked behind the scene, and I learned so much. It's one of the best school that pay me. I think that way. And then I really become a full-time private chef, and I travel with some families. Most of the time I have to be babysitter too. So I had to deal with, rich kids tantrum. I would never forget about my promise to myself that once I can settle, I would love to give back. So on my day off, I volunteered to help school and read for the kids or do something meaningful. Believe me, I would love to go shopping and, go through Champs-Élysées, but my really happiness is just to be doing something for the community.
Yes. That sounds amazing. So I appreciate the background. I mean, and I'm sure there's far more details. If we had 3 hours, we could get into more of them, but it's great to know the context that you're coming to this work you're doing now, with, and it's so international, but also the story you told about your blind friend. I'm going back to that just for a second to see when you had that time with him and you were reading for him, and then you took him to do some small sort of errands and things around the community you were in. Did it sort of hit you when you saw the way the world was not really ready to, did he have a hard time navigating the kind of the way the world was set up? And is that what struck you? You wanted to make changes from that perspective, or was it just kind of more inspirational, seeing that he found ways to navigate a world that predominantly is not in Braille? I mean, let's be honest. So I'm just curious what that moment was like for you.
When we met in a classroom, nobody really talked to him, and he's a little bit quiet. Mm-hmm. So I started talking to him, and we start from, I asked him, how do you feel that, you can't go see movie, you just listen to music, or what you do? And he told me that he liked to read through his Braille book. And he says, I know I can't see the world, this life, but I would like to hear the stories of if people can travel the world and come back and tell me what they see. And I would love to experience that. And that sparked a little candle in my heart. Wow, this man, he never looked himself down. Yeah. And he just looked for someone to to walk with him, to talk to him, and to be his eyes. So, we studied through the whole year together. Teacher sees that I get along well with him, so I was his buddy through every project we have to do together. And he's just so positive. And that makes me want to, okay, you can come with me, but I'll go for you. I would walk through the park. I would, get some flowers, let you sniff. And then I like to cook little things. So I played game with him, like blind tasting, right? I know the answer, but yeah. So he picked for me things that you should try this. Believe me or not, he got it like almost 100% of what I put in front of him, but I got probably half I could have done. So that really,
it was his. So it was his sort of positive, really very positive approach and can-do kind of mentality, maybe combined with what you already had naturally, and then it just sounds like it exponentially just grew because you seem like a very, very positive, motivated person. And I was just curious what the rest of that was like. So that's great. We are going to take a short break, Chef Pearl, but when we get back, we're going to talk all about your website, which I'm just going to let people know is pearlcookingstudio.com. That's pearlcookingstudio.com. And there's tons of information on that website about all the services you provide and how to get in touch with you, and some background. But we're going to get into that. And then I definitely want to talk about this Taste of the Spectrum program that you have, because I think it's very, very cool. I haven't really seen anything like it before, and I want to hear how it's going. So this is 1 in 31 Autism Today. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, and we'll be right back.
To every referee, umpire, and judge in high school sports, we want to say, we see you.
We see everything you do for us that goes unnoticed.
We see the positive role models that you are.
We see the way you get unfairly criticized just for doing your job.
The truth is, we couldn't play without you.
So thank you for investing your time in us.
Thank you for protecting the integrity of the game, no matter what.
We hope you always know how much we appreciate you.
Because without you, this is just recess. It's not really a game.
Thank you for always making it possible for us to play the sports we love.
Want to serve the students in your community? Sign up to become an official in New York at highschoolofficials.com.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can cause a life-threatening reaction. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready-to-act.
And now, 1 in 31 Autism Today continues on 100.7 WHUD. This is a weekly community affairs presentation from the Anderson Center for Autism.
Welcome back to 1 in 31 Autism Today, the podcast on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, Chief Development Officer at Anderson Center for Autism and Anderson Foundation for Autism. And today I'm talking with super positive, wonderful Chef Pearl from Blauvelt, New York, in Rockland County, but not really from there, but currently there, originally from Thailand, and telling us some really interesting things about your background and kind of what led you to where you are today. So this time I'm going to start off with the website, which is pearlcookingstudio.com. And Chef Pearl, if you could just tell us about, I guess, what you're doing now. You're a private chef still, I think, but you also have these additional sort of groups and programs and classes that you offer. So I want to hear all about that.
Yes. Before I took this journey, it's been almost 5 years since right after COVID. I mentioned in the last break that I started from hotel world. So after we got married, we moved from New York City to Tarrytown, and I worked at the hotel there. Now, so sad, it's permanently closed. It's called Castle Hotel and Spa. If any fans of yours been there, you probably see me morning, noon, and night. I was AGM there. I was PR and marketing manager. Took a tour with people. But then when COVID hit, it was the saddest moment for everybody. We all got let go. And I just didn't want to sit at home doing nothing. And luckily that the house that we bought here in Blauville, we have a old tool shed next to the main house and the swimming pool. So my husband and I decided to let's go back to my cooking. So we brushed up the whole room to be a cooking studio. And but back then, because of the COVID, nobody can be inside and the room was not done yet. So I started popping the tent outside and posted activities for kids, outdoor. So I started with regular kids cooking class every weekends and it took off. People just, signed up and it's really busy. And then one mom that she always take her daughter here and she start asking, Chef Pearl, do you think you can teach autistic kid? I have a son, he's 16. He doesn't really talk much, but he would follow and he likes to cook. So I was like, I want to do it right. So mom, let me do some research for a little bit and then I'll get back to you. So I'm so lucky. I have a psychiatric friend who, prepped me about these are the spectrum. We call it spectrum because everybody born differently. So he gave me like 15 books to read within 2 weeks. So I went through and, I just want to make sure that when he comes, he'll feel comfortable. And once I'm ready, I will reach back to the mom and says, Mom, I'm ready. Let's bring Adrian here. And Adrian started and it went so well. And then words of mouth, because we have business in our, property. I don't want to post, my details to the world. Yeah. So because of word of mouth and parents here who has, kids with spectrum and autistic, they have their own bubble community. So someone started posting. A lot of
things spread, sure.
Right.
Sure.
And it become like a chain reaction, like a big domino. Because I teach by myself right now, so I can only take certain amount of kids, even though I start having the waiting list, which it was so surprise to me because I started from only one kid. Within 2 years, I had 5. Then at year 3, I had 15. And this year, like today, I have 29, which is almost to my
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And thanks to Fox 5 News that they came and because of they heard about Good Story that we really do this for the community. Of course, business too, because most of kids who come here, they have the fund from their insurance company, any. And then we start having weekly cooking class together. But my ideal is I really want to be able to teach someone who can be cooking instructor. Do it at your own home, help with community, make little money out of it. And if it start to, doing well, I actually now planning for cookbooks that I'm going to write with my students. I'm going to have each of them pick 2 of their most favorite things to make and have them either write or draw or something that come from their hands and their thoughts, put in a nice cookbook, we publish it. And I'm coming up with my spice lines because when we make food home, I always give extra portions for the kids to take home for the parents can taste. And parents ask like, oh, chef, can you give us recipe, please? Sure, here's the recipe. But what you don't know is we use different kind of spices. Starting from salt and pepper. Do you know I mix 4 corn and 3 different kind of salt in my salt and pepper? So a little thing like that make a big dynamic. And I would have my students, be hands-on and help me with the project. And when we start selling, maybe through my website, maybe through farmer markets, I would love to set up some profit to do something back to the kids who can't really come, either they're too far or they don't have budget. Maybe I pop up in like some, let's say if the church, some town nearby says, okay, chef, we can have you today for 3 hours. I would love to use my profit to bring ingredients and have kids sign in and then nobody pay. Just come in and just learn together.
I love that. I think, first of all, the way it started is anytime that something sort of naturally happens like that, I think it's got the best chances of survival and sustainability because you are meeting a need that you didn't necessarily go into this expecting to hear about. And then you did your research, which I love that you said, not yet, let me read. I love that. And then got back to the person. And then, of course, word of mouth would spread because like I said in the beginning, these are exactly the types of opportunities that I think a lot of families raising an autistic child feel very isolated from. So also I want to give a shout out to that mom who had the confidence and the courage to ask you. a lot of parents, I think, and caregivers don't necessarily feel like they're going to be well received when they ask somebody in your position if you'd be willing to do something with their autistic child. So it takes that kind of courage and then your kind of response to make some things like this happen. I'm curious if, as you're cooking, as you're doing your classes with the Taste of the Spectrum group, have you noticed things like, and do you find yourself adapting to texture preferences, spice preferences, maybe smell preferences? Are there things where, because we hear a lot about sort of sensory sensitivities among this population in general. So do you find yourself needing to adapt, or does it feel very sort of natural because when you're cooking with lots of people, are you sort of always doing that? Is there a difference?
I would thank for my previous experiences when I was private chef for each families, right? Mm-hmm. And starting from kids who have the world under their feet. They can pick what they like, what they don't. How can I make them be a part of let's try new things? Let's surprise mom and dad. Let's do something outside of just bland sweet potato. Let's make brownie out of it. So that little tricks, little tips that I learned from those experiences become, yes, it's a challenge with the kids that I have right now. But I started with, don't lie to them. Don't say, oh, taste the broccoli tastes like cake pop. No, it doesn't work that way. So let them from gut feeling. Okay, you don't like to eat it? Don't eat it yet. Don't eat it yet. But guess what? If you taste new food today, maybe next time I'll let you make extra dessert to take home. Things like that. And they start to like, okay, fine, I'll taste salad just to make you happy. That's what I say. Right. They're making me happy.
But then all of a sudden, they might really like it.
And, when they start making things on their own, they understand, wow, actually it's not that hard. Or, whoa, I thought it's easier than that. So it's challenge to them. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, these kids, they have special brain and things that it's hard to crack the code to begin with. But once you kind of unlock their boundary, they trust you. Everything is much easier. Believe me, I don't like quinoa either, but hey, let's try it together. Things like that. Once they trust you, they would do anything their best to make, to make them proud and to make you happy too.
Oh, absolutely. And I was watching the video that was it was Fox 5 that came into that?
Yes.
And they came into your studio and they're with some of the individuals that you're cooking with. And it was great hearing one young man sort of lean back in his chair and say, oh, maybe I'll be a chef someday. And then these two other young guys who it sounds like had been participating for a while, were talking about, just what it's like to be in your kitchen and that it's a great time. And you could sort of see the natural socialization that occurs. And so the other thing that you're doing, I think, with these classes is you're providing, again, like a very natural, organic environment where the pressure's kind of off because everybody's doing something and it's going to be enjoyable for people who like to cook and or eat. But there's natural opportunities to make a social connection with you or with each other, to practice fine motor skills, to try new things. And also, like we were saying before, especially coming out of COVID when everyone felt so incredibly isolated and alone, to be able to go have some place to go and to do something, to get out of the house. So I think you're touching on so many important aspects of just human development and growth and interaction and happiness by way of your cooking classes. So I'm thrilled that you're doing this. We're just about out of time. Is there anything either coming soon or that you really want people to know about? The pop-ups sound great. I hope that happens. But how should people follow you? Social media, website? What's the best way to keep track of you?
Yes, I always told people that I was born in 13th century. So please don't rely on my social media posts. Gotcha. But I do have Instagram, Chef Pearl NYC. I think so. And you can always, look at my website and reach out to me. I like to talk in person. As you can see that I can go for another 2.5 hours. Give me a call. Let's talk about opportunity together. How can I help? Either, I don't chase money. Mm-hmm. I just want to give the positive energy. Want to encourage children, young adults out there. Everybody feel down, right? Mm-hmm. Once in a while, but how can we lift them up? Or how can we help them look for a different perspective? And if 2 people start from 2, 4, 8, 16, the world would be much better place. And because I work with such a pure souls, my students are really angels to me. And I really want to, talk more about this, and pick up, call me, and then we'll go from there. And
make something happen.
Follow, Taste of a Spectrum. We have a few videos, but I really have to find time to make more.
Well, that sounds great. And maybe one of these days, one of your students will decide that they want to get into, making videos, and then you'll have your social media expert there. Chef Pearl, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I think what you're doing is fantastic. I love your energy and your enthusiasm, and I would encourage anybody listening to go to pearlcookingstudio.com. All the information is there, including that social media, so you don't have to worry about shouting it out right now, but also ways to contact and book Chef Pearl for a Taste of the Spectrum class, or perhaps one of her other services, because there are quite a number of them. Best of luck to you moving forward. I'm really glad you're out there doing such wonderful things and having such a fabulous attitude in the world. So thank you.
ขอบคุณค่ะ Thank you.
This is 1 in 31, the weekly talk show on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, and remember, Anderson cares.
You've been listening to 1 in 31, Autism Today, a weekly presentation from Anderson Center for Autism. Join them for another edition of the show next weekend.